All right, we ready to go here, gentlemen?
Ready to go here, gentlemen. Oh, sorry, let me grab my notes.
Fucking damn
I had
it.
to reach over for my notes. All right, let's do it.
Hang on, I gotta eat 2 more ice cream sandwiches.
I know, I was going to say, hold on.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll be right back.
Yeah. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tim Carnival. I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're your friendly neighborhood people who talk about Insane Clown Posse. We are at the tail end of our amazing Jeckel brothers journey through the 5th Joker's card. And we're talking about the final 2 tracks on the album. And, there's a lot to discuss. But how you guys doing?
I'm well.
Right as rain, man. Beautiful.
Sweet. Good to know. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into the first track we're talking about this week, which is Echo Side, featuring Twisted. And if you haven't listened to this song yet, go ahead and take a listen now. Guys, this is maybe the song I remember the least off of the Jeckel Brothers album, quite likely, the song I've listened to the least off of this album. And this song kind of rules, guys.
It's not bad.
I
feel much the same.
A couple of famous firsts here. First official Joker's Card album featuring Twisted. The only time we'd seen them before was on $85 an hour. Another famous first. This is the first time, to my recollection, that Violent J does a just low talking voice, where he's just like talking in what's probably pretty close to his normal voice, where it's maybe a little bit sing-songy, but he's not rapping in his traditional raspy, any of his voices that we've heard before, just a nice low rumble. But I really loved, the mythology of this song is a little bit weird, but I really love the structure of the song in that everybody gets a different, like, the verses, all the lines are by different people, and all the lines echo, but none of the echoes are by the same people that say the line, and the echoes rotate. Like, it really lends to the ethereal and otherworldly quality of the song, and then like when shit like gets heavy, like it sounds like super chaotic because it's so like not necessarily laid back, but it's so like setting a mood, and it's just slow and low, and just things build and build, and by the time like everyone's talking over each other in the later choruses and outro, it sounds like appropriately maniacal, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like the music is really interesting, and after listening to it like multiple times through in a row, what I kind of went away with it, or what I kind of took away from it was, to me it felt like maybe they were trying to have the music inspire a sense of the feeling of what the environment is for the location that the song is about. Like I felt like you were saying ethereal quality. To me, that felt like they were trying to make us feel like we're there. And we're experiencing that place, and the music kind of goes along with when I picture that environment or whatever as they're describing it. They seem to go together pretty well.
Another famous first, arguably the first time that they let it slip that they're big time Christians. Big old Jesus boys. There's some backmasking, which sounds like what yeah. And it's Shaggy Dope saying, "Fuck the devil, fuck that shit. We believe in life legit. If you're hearing what we say, why you throw your soul away?"
I like that you sometimes say Shaggy Dope.
Shaggy Dope.
The two is implied.
The shaggy dope is the weed you don't want to buy. His name's Stems Two Seeds. Did I do it right?
It's bad. I remember seeing an annotation on Genius about that, I believe, where they were saying that this was kind of maybe the last sort of effort by them to kind of hide how they really feel, or what we're going to learn in the next Joker's card, what the Carnival really is, and all of that. And so doing things like having hidden messages about it in previous records. This one is the most, like, if you play it backwards, then you hear the lyrics that you just said, Bill, and it's like very direct. And so it's kind of like a very weak effort to really mask what the message is that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But this is their last attempt, or last time that they're going to do it in this way.
Maybe they were worried about denying him 3 times.
So that's my question, though. I mean, and you're not the first person who I said, oh, they're Christians. And I still never heard them once say anything about Christianity other than making fun of it, at least televangelists. I mean, I think there's a huge difference between being a Christian and then believing in, like,
A higher
generic,
power.
like the generic version of good people go to heaven and bad people go to hell. Because I mean,
That's
Christianity, yeah. I mean, I guess I'm just like being like playing semantics, like hardcore. I got a huge argument with someone about it one time at work. I was like, they're not Christians. I was like, yeah, they have this, like, if you're a good person, you go to heaven. I was like, but that's not Christianity at all. You can be a piece of shit and still go to heaven in Christianity as long as you believe Jesus is God. You know? So, I mean, there's a huge difference there. And so I don't know. I guess if I ever heard them say Jesus was cool, I would stop listening.
No,
Because I've had my fill of Christian music in life, and so I don't know. So I get a little touchy on no, they're not Christian. Yeah, they like God, but they don't say who God is, other than a bunch of, like, they actually mention other religions, like doing voodoo, and Shangri-La, and I mean, those are all things that Christianity would say is heretic. So I'm sorry.
No, this is an important distinction to make because, when the Wraith came out, everyone said that they were a Christian band, and there were a lot of people who wanted to believe that, and, at the time I thought, oh yeah, that's cool. But I also noticed that at no time did they say, we love Jesus Christ, we love the Holy Trinity. They didn't say anything like that. They're not like crucifix, yay.
Yeah.
It's just they believe in a God, and everyone was quick to be like, ICP's a Christian band.
Okay.
Because that's the only concept of God that most people have.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you both. That
Yeah.
I also don't know that they've ever said anything about being Christians.
I think they believe in Yahweh.
Yahweh.
His name is Yahweh. Sorry.
So do you guys know what are they really? What the hell is the Echo side, though?
That's what I was saying. It's tough to figure out. It's a little bit confusing. It seems like it's the Echo side, like it's the back door out of hell. Like it's the escape hatch between hell and whatever.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of thinking too. Like, just kind of like a purgatory, where you're not in heaven and you're not in hell. And so I don't know. That was just kind of my assumption.
Whatever concept of like limbo or purgatory or whatever, like no one's ever come up with a fucking cooler term than Echo side.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of their like smartest songs, maybe. Just in terms of like, this is a song about echoes and like just the way that it's structured. Like there's 4 of us. We're each going to take a line. Every line's going to echo, but a different person's going to echo each line. Like, I love the structure so much. And then, like, all of the choruses are really cool, and, like, the singing echo side, like, chanting and stuff is, like, really cool, and one of the rare times in the album that there's actually, like, a sung chorus instead of, like, just a chant.
Do you guys have any guesses as to what the lyrics are that they're chanting there?
Echo side. Hee hee yahoo echo side.
Yeah, to me, yeah, I have no idea. It sounds like he, me, Allah, echo side to me. Like, it just sounds like gibberish.
It's poo poo caca echo side.
Oh man, you're taking it to the streets with that joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, echo side, that's where around the corner fudge is made.
So, and of course it says, if there is a hell, then there must be a behind.
Mm-hmm.
And not a but.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there must be a but. But there's probably more than one but in hell. But, so that makes me think that it's something that's hell adjacent, like you guys are saying, purgatory or some other land. Well, because later on, Monoxide Child, I think it is, mentions that Damien, the character of the main character of the song, comes upon some fortress gates.
Mm-hmm.
And that those are the gates to hell. And he doesn't, and so hell is like, they present hell as sort of being also like, to me, I picture like more like a carnival or whatever, a place that has a wall around it and a gate, a fortress built around it. And so what's outside of that? I thought that it was like the backside of hell.
Yeah. I think it's the escape hatch, the like secret passage that gets you from the corner that the hell observatory is and takes you to the hell kitchen.
Well, if you look at, I don't know if it's in Matthew, it wouldn't be in Mark, but it could be in Luke. Jesus tells a story of the beggar Lazarus and then the rich man, and Lazarus is begging for crumbs, and the rich man is a big pig, and then he dies. They both die, and so Lazarus is and they called it Abraham's bosom, and it was like heaven kind of, but it wasn't heaven. It's like a waiting place, and then there's a big gulf, and then on the other side was hell, and then the rich man was begging Gabriel to send Lazarus over with a drip of water to curb his tongue, and they're saying, we can't go over there and do that. And then he begs, can you at least let me go up and tell my brothers so that they don't come to this awful place? And then they're like, well, if they didn't believe like God or the law, however it's said, if they didn't believe it up on earth, they're not gonna believe it from you now. Which kind of doesn't make sense, because if my brother died and then came to me, he's like, oh my God, I'm in hell, you need to do this, I'd probably be like, okay. But anyways, that was the story. So, you could think of maybe they crawled out of hell and that gulf like surrounds hell, and maybe the Echo side was down in that pit, and somehow he just walked and crawled all the way back up a road that led him right to the gates again.
Well, I will tell you that it's in Luke, and I'll also tell you that...
Is his name not Lazarus?
No, it's Lazarus.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe I got it wrong, because he's got the other story of Lazarus where he rises from the dead. But
yeah, you got it right.
Yeah.
I'll also tell you that there is a wiki that has the entire Bible on it. Good to know. And the relevant verse is, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also
remembered it.
Yeah, the rich man also died and was buried, and in hell he lift up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Oh, so it's literally Abraham's bosom. Yeah, he's right in the cleavage.
That was an awesome whistle.
Yeah, it was.
It almost sounded like echo on it.
I thought it was like someone's like text alert or something. So pristine. You should use that. You should use that whistle as our new listen to this song now. All right, what other thoughts do you guys have on Echo Side?
This was the first. This is the I don't know if you mentioned this part. This is like the first Dark Lotus track?
Yeah.
Did you say that already?
I said it's the first ICP track featuring Twisted on an actual album. But it is the first Dark Lotus track. I mean, like ABK or neither ABK, Mars, nor Blaze are on this track. But yeah, I mean, Twisted and ICP together are sometimes known as Dark Lotus.
Well, and so last week's episode we talked about them saying that they had a new project coming up with Twisted, and he wasn't going to play us any. That was on the Shaggy Show, and then this track was recorded with the 4 artists that Violent J mentioned, and it was released this year, 1999, at a concert in Garden City, Michigan. It was released as the first single of Dark Lotus.
Nice.
So he tricked us in the Shaggy Show saying that he wasn't going to play it. He played a whole fucking track for us.
That son of a bitch.
But he didn't play it for us on the Shaggy Show.
Oh, that's right. He did. He denied them. He gave it to us.
This is backstage at the Shaggy Show.
Guys, has anyone ever urinated in your wrath?
Yes, once. No.
I don't know.
No, that's never happened to me. But maybe. Also, so to me, the craziest or the most evocative and coolest line delivery in this track is so he laid on top of Damien and then licked the back of his neck and said.
That's so
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Like Black Tongue guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Black Tongue Guy. My favorite Soundgarden song.
Good man with long black tongue.
Go ahead and edit that right now. Tong you! Oh, wait. I did. Oh, yeah. You know, it's always confusing to me when I click the edit thing and it, like, jumps back and I'm like, oh, because it has to be approved or whatever. Anyway, that's some genius commentary for you. Steve, I want to know what you have to say about this song, because you know more about hell and various bosoms than we do.
True.
I've always liked this song. I thought it was really interesting. And just because of like all the different things you guys talked about, how the music was, just how trippy it was, and I just thought it was just a cool story. It's a what do you call it? Like a Tales from the Crypt comic where someone goes through all this effort escaping just to like stumble right back into surprised ending. Dun dun dun. You're back in hell. I love that. I love stuff like that. It's kind of classic horror movie telling story. So it has a lot of that feel, just being dark and creepy. They talk about sending people to hell a lot in their albums. So now this is the place that they're sending people to. And when I listen to it now, it makes me think of these are future songs that were inspired to make Hell's Pit. Although I wouldn't say there's any songs I would necessarily like in Hell's Pit that as much as this song, but you know what I mean?
So guys, what I really think the Echo side is it's this space that's outside of hell, but that it exists only to bounce people back, like people that maybe get out. Like there is no escape from the Echo side. It's constantly going to redirect you back to hell if you do happen to be out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I just thought it sounded really badass.
Yeah.
It does seem like, I mean, and that's kind of what the tone is of Dark Lotus, right? It's like a more serious and more dark, and so it really comes across in this song. And I think a small change, like you were saying with Jay bringing his voice down a little bit, it really changes the whole tone of the thing and makes it a lot more serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it leads into another serious track. So if we have mined the depths of Echo Side, shall we move on?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, the final track on the album is Nothing's Left. And if you have not listened to this track yet, go ahead and take a listen now. Well, guys, I think the only misstep in this song, and it's only a misstep because it's still great the first time, or if you haven't listened to it in a long time, is Shaggy at the beginning crying and saying, I love you guys. And then Jay admonishing him for always ruining the moment. But I do love when Jay says, why you guys gotta ruin the moment? Shaggy saying, fuck you, the way he delivers it is so perfect because it's so pathetic and like there's no weight behind it whatsoever, but he's like wounded.
Like a little brother saying to his big
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you. But I love this song, and Steve, this was an important song for us for a little while, right?
Yeah.
My student film was a short film that Steve and I wrote, and it was the first part of a larger work called American Tragedy, and right? It's called American Tragedy, I think.
Yeah.
And it was going to be a film that was a silent film that was split up into different chapters, and it was going to follow one character through their life, and the lead character, the main character, was going to be in color, and everything else was going to be black and white through rotoscoping. I think we wanted to do the lead character and blood was going to be in color, and then everything else would be in black and white.
Yeah.
And you may recognize that movie today as Sin City. No. We did the first chapter, and it's going to be a silent film, but every part of the film, or most parts of the film, were going to be scored by music, popular music, contemporary music, to tell the whole tale. And my student film uses Fools Rush In and Christmas at Ground Zero by Weird Al, and a Zayo song, and just like that. And but we had always thought that the final chapter of American Tragedy would be scored to Nothing's Left, and it would sort of build and build. Do you remember, Steve, what we wanted the final, the end of the movie to be?
I don't. I didn't even remember that we had talked about this until you were talking about it, and I'm like, oh my god, that's right. Yeah.
Well, it was 20
I remember
years
the
ago.
actual film. I just forgot about you wanted to do more.
Yeah. So it was going to be a real bummer of a movie, and we never really discussed this, but essentially, like, the kid was going to be like a modern day Job, basically, where like everything bad you could possibly think of happens to this guy. And it was going to end with him just like going up to a very tall building and jumping off. And as this song plays, we sort of pull back to see like everyone everywhere is jumping off buildings. Like it's like there's nothing left for anybody. And like everyone's just jumping off buildings. And this was pre 9/11, and it was just a sort of what I got out of the imagery, and I don't think like we ever really talked very much about like what it meant. We were just like, oh, that'd be cool, yeah, that's gonna be awesome, it's a good story. But what I take of it is like the act of like giving up collectively is like a powerful like image and thought. Like the idea of like everyone coming to the same conclusion of like we're all like sort of like Suicide Circle type thing, right? Where it's like we're making a statement by all like making this choice, and like ultimately like everyone can find solidarity in being together and making that choice. And apologize, like, you know, I'm just sort of glossing over everything, and I apologize if I'm making the idea of suicide sound flippant or self-harm or anything like that. But I think that there's, you know, as we try and further the conversation about mental health and about dealing with, you know, personal issues and depression and everything, like, I think it's important to acknowledge that there are thoughts that people have that, when you share those thoughts and you find out that other people will have also like had those thoughts and then lived through those thoughts, I think that that's really important. And it's like the semicolon tattoo. You guys know about that, right?
Yep.
I do not.
Steve, there's a lot of people who get a semicolon tattoo because a semicolon denotes a sentence where the author could have put a period, but instead chooses to continue the sentence.
Okay.
So the semicolon tattoo is for people who have either considered suicide or attempted suicide and then decided to go on living. Because they could have ended their sentence, but they chose to continue it.
Yeah.
And I think that you know, there's a lot of that in this song. And I also apologize if I'm lending this song way too much weight and credence and importance than it deserves to have, because it's just an Insane Clown Posse song. But I do think that it still feels powerful, and I think that the message is really good in it, because the message that I take out of it is like that idea of like, well, you know, what's left for me, but then, oh, there is something left for me, you know. Like in the terms of this song, it's waiting for the carnival to come, waiting for the wagons to come. But I love the structure of the song, and I love the mood of the song and how it starts from minimal and sad and depressing and just like becomes so beautiful and just like screaming out like you know, a positive affirmation of like hope.
Yeah, I don't know, man, because I'm not gonna comment on whether or not I think it's appropriate, but I think that what you just expressed is very much what this song made me think and feel when I listened to it. You know, back in 1999, I thought of this and it made me think about, you know, people ending their lives or whatever. I talked about this on previous episodes. That there were little hints or things that made me worried that it could eventually turn into a suicide cult, juggaloism.
Right.
But when you have a thing that's talking about that, you know, the wagons are coming and we're gonna die and there ain't shit for me here, let's bounce, like, you know, this kind of sentimental moment at the beginning, that it's off-putting that it's Shaggy that's being sentimental because he's never the one that's sentimental. And I think even if it's a little ham-fisted, I think what they're trying to do is make it seem like, no, you got to take this seriously that we're talking about right now. Even Shags is a bit broken up about it, you know? Mm-hmm. Which as a concept I think is good, but I agree with you in the execution that it kind of falls a little bit. But I like the beginning of the music. It's like very atmospheric. There's like weird, I keep hearing animal sounds and stuff like that. Even a part where there's like a dog sniff that's really up close in the mic, which I thought was really cool. And I did always like this song, and I felt the same way that I went away with it with this kind of bittersweet feeling. I felt inspired to action. Like I felt like I didn't want to make my life meaningless or whatever. I wanted to have something to show. I didn't want to have works to show, but when I was going to die or whatever. But it also felt a little bit ominous and scary to me that like there was judgment involved and good and bad, evil, was present or whatever. And so there's a little bit of a hauntingness, that I feel to the quality that I feel to the song, in addition to also feeling really energized by it. Like it would really pump me up.
Yeah. It's just nice to just put on, and like there's a lot of like cool guitar parts that come in at the end and stuff, and it's just very cool.
I feel like that's some solid, like, I feel like the song is like a loving goodbye note to the 90s.
Absolutely. Did you see about the sampling information here?
Oh, no, please share.
It interpolates a Ronnie Millsap song called Stranger in My House, which I have not listened to. I'm just seeing this now. But that's pretty fun. I do like, I always like when Violent J tries to get deep, because there's always like some stuff that doesn't quite add up or make sense. Because like the concept is very solid. Like there's nothing left, and I'm gonna list all the things where everything's been like done before. So like ain't no story that ain't been told, ain't no gimmick that ain't been sold. Okay, like that all makes sense. No ocean that never been swam. Yep, sure. No jobber that ain't been slammed. Mm-hmm. There's no road that ain't been traveled. Sure. There's no doctor that ain't been baffled. Like, as though, like, a requirement of being a doctor is to be baffled by ailments and illnesses.
Or miracle healing.
Well, yeah, like, obviously the end factor would be, like, ain't no disease that ain't been cured, but, like, that's clearly not true. Like, that wouldn't be true.
Right.
But, like, to
accurate.
put in, like, medicine or medical profession and be like, you know what happens every time medicine gets involved? Doctors don't know what's going on.
Well, every doctor that I know that's on television.
Yeah. But then House figures out it's not lupus.
But he's baffled for a little while.
Well, House is never baffled. It's ever been proud of. House just limps around angrily until he figures it out. He's like, "We're gonna figure out this disease." That's his English. It's his American accent. It's the same as Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. I'm Doctor Strange. That's his voice.
Perfect execution.
Yeah. It's the Eye of Agamotto. Get out of my house, Rachel McAdams. I'm sad. Clarence.
Need to do math instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I sent you guys a text message a little while back saying about this song with, I was like, man, when this song came out, they hadn't even landed on Mars yet. They hadn't, landed drones on actual asteroids floating around other moons, and like the space program's doing so much crazy stuff right now. And
did you guys hear about this probe that they're shooting at the sun?
Yeah, it's out there.
Fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sun?
The probe is going to go up to and into the sun's atmosphere to take measurements on like solar flares and the composition of the sun's atmosphere. What's wild to me is that the sun's atmosphere extends out more than 2 million miles.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing's gonna be 2 million miles away from the sun, but still inside the sun's atmosphere.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. Space Force, guys. What is also crazy, have you guys seen the trailer for First Man yet?
I haven't. It's about a lady president?
No. That's First Man in the House.
It's a Sinbad movie?
Yeah. No, it's first one of the boys. It's about the moon landing. And we watched Kazoo and saw Mission Impossible Fallout for a second time because it's great in IMAX because it's big. And there was an IMAX trailer for First Man on it, and it's like Ryan Gosling is like there's very little dialogue, and it's like Ryan Gosling like walking down like the gangplank and like getting strapped into the shuttle and then like it blasting off, and everything's like super close and like first person, and like the shuttle's all like rickety and stuff, and like not shuttle, I keep saying shuttle, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Apollo 11 or whatever. Like they're like looking out the window as they're like going through the atmosphere, and it's just like everything's bursting into flame around them, like outside the thing. And I'm like, holy, like how fucking crazy is it that we did this? Like that's so fucking stupid and crazy. And like you put the two dudes like up at the top of it. Like what are you thinking? And there's like just these two fucking dudes strapped into this thing. There's no controls.
Just gotta go fast, man.
Just in a bucket, fucking hoping they don't explode or get incinerated. That is so crazy.
Hoping they don't explode in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is constantly exploding.
Yeah, and then parts of the thing blow off, and their ship gets smaller and smaller because otherwise, otherwise they'll just end up right in the moon's eye, like that Georges Méliès short.
I hope I get to die in space.
Oh, I'm sure you will, buddy. I'll see to it.
Thanks, bud. Good looking out.
Yeah, good you. Well, I don't want to die in the ocean.
Oh, fuck, no. No. That would be terrible.
But space
unless you were eaten by atomic shark.
Okay, if I was eaten in one gulp by an atomic shark, maybe.
Well, in atomic shark, you would die from the radiation from it anyway. So as you're being eaten, it's big. You're also being radiated. It's like it's cooking you.
Would you settle for being eaten by the Meg?
Yeah, that probably wouldn't hurt too much either.
Nice.
It'd be over pretty quick.
unless you go in whole.
Right, digested alive or drown. I guess
Yeah, but
you'd probably
still
drown
drown.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, drowning ain't no fun way to go, man.
No.
My favorite part of the song is when he says, "There's no desert that ain't seen rain, nobody here that ain't felt pain. There's no bigot that ain't been clowned. There's no treasure that I ain't found."
He's
I feel like
found all of the treasures on Earth.
it's just a real, I feel like it's a very self-serving moment, but it's like he's congratulating himself rightly, I think, for what he's achieved. Like he's hyping himself right now, but he deserves it. Like he definitely earned it.
Yeah.
And I like that he includes that it's about us. We, just last week, we were talking about Bill, and you spoke you spoke very eloquently about it. The shared experience of pain or struggle or whatever that people feel, and different ways that they have outlets or access to things that ease that a little bit or whatever. And ICP's right here saying, yep, we're a bunch of fucked up, like we've been dealt a difficult hand or whatever, but we're here together right now, and we're going to be okay.
Yeah. Hell yeah. We gonna be all right. Let's finish up talking about this track.
What number track is this on the album?
17. Interesting.
Hmm.
I was a little bit surprised there was no hidden track on this album. I mean, not that surprised, but like in my mind, I was like, is there a hidden track? I thought maybe there might be a hidden track, but there is not.
It's a pretty long album already.
It's true.
A very long album.
Sorry, go ahead.
They're going to make up for that coming up soon, Bill. I think you'll be satisfied.
Hell yeah. Play a hater's degree? Oh, hell yeah. Steve, final thoughts about this track?
Of course, I obviously very much love this song a lot. One of the things that I liked about it was it had a very familiar formula to me, and it comes from contemporary Christian music, and it's the kind of like the evangelical Christian songs that like start off all mellow like this song does and builds up emotion and about how shitty things are, and then ends on a very triumphant, like, in course in Christianity songs, the triumphant, like, God has set us free and praise Jesus kind of a thing. And this song kind of plays and follows that, and that made me like it a lot, because it wasn't a Christian song, and I like that they used that formula, and it reminds me of just other music. I've kind of found in the last like 10 years, I feel like there's a lot of music that reminds me, that's modern, that reminds me of like late 90s and early 2000s contemporary Christian music. I felt like the Disney Channel and different kid shows started doing that first, where they like have all this music that's really like kid friendly, and it's really just formulaic contemporary Christian music that had been out first. And so, and now, even when I like listen to certain songs from that band Ghost, I think, God, that sounds like a Christian worship song. Like just the way it's put together, and I mean, they might be doing that actually on purpose, but still, I love that type of stuff. So, because Christians always seem to copy everything so often, so to hear things that aren't Christian, kind of unintentionally probably, but still borrow from, like, that's a Christian sound that was doing it first. I always just think that's funny, and I like that.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Guys, before we close the book on this Joker's card, I'm going to ask you your top 3 tracks on the album, and maybe some surprises that you weren't expecting.
All right, so my favorite song on the album is definitely Mad Professor. Just really love the production value of it, I guess. Felt like that was particularly high for that song. Really fun. Loved it. Loved the concept. Loved everything about it. Number 2 for me is I Stab People. I think that's probably actually my sleeper favorite. You can go back and listen to that episode. I talk about it a lot. And then number 3 is I Want My Shit, which I think is probably just the most fun, like kind of rock out, have a good time, feel some camaraderie track, and I think that's why I like it so much.
Oh. My favorite song, it was like I said last time, is actually, and I'm sure everyone will hate me for this, but it's The Shaggy Show. That is my favorite song on this album.
I don't know why you think we wouldn't respect that choice.
I don't know.
It's just because I hate you personally, Steve.
Yeah, you thought.
Oh, I always get that mixed up.
You thought you were gonna say, "Oh, my favorite song is The Shaggy Show," and we were gonna be like, "I hate your rotten guts."
Yeah, kind of. I just have no, confidence in my decisions. And then my second favorite is I Stab People. And I think my third is, it's kind of probably a tie for a few songs, but I think Everybody Rise.
Oh, wow. Nice. Yeah, I definitely like Everybody Rise more than I remembered liking Everybody Rise. My 3 favorites would be Fuck the World, I Want My Shit, and Nothing's Left. Because I as much as I love I Stab People, I can't in good conscience vote for like a 70-second song over like those 3 songs. But it's so good. It's so good. And then I think for me the real sleepers for me on this album were Echo Side and Play With Me. I like Play With Me like way more than I did back in the day.
Definitely.
And I never gave Echo Side a chance because like after Mad Professor I would always just want to hear Nothing's Left. So I'd just skip Assassins and Echo Side. But the beginning of Assassins, as we covered, is very good. So like if you just listen to Assassins and then skip past it once the verses start, you're doing great.
I feel like this is a good overall. I mean, I felt very satisfied with this album when it came out. I was like, this is satisfying to me.
Yeah. Nowadays, like I don't know if I'll ever listen to any of the more problematic songs on here ever again. But, in 1999, extremely solid. Like, maybe the most consistent of the 5 Joker cards to date. And easily their angriest release.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody for listening. Next time we discuss music, which may not be the next episode, but the next time we discuss music, we will be talking about Most Tasteless, and to a lesser extent, the original 1998 release of Most Tasteless by Twisted, and a little bit of a bugaboo here. Neither version of Most Tasteless is on Spotify. And of the 90 Twisted releases on Spotify, you will not find either version of Most Tasteless. But you will find both of them on YouTube. There are several track-by-tracks of the 1999 version of Most Tasteless that you can find in playlists. And you can find at least one 53-minute YouTube video of the original release of Most Tasteless that has helpful time codes in the description. So it's easy to find Most Tasteless. It's just you can't find it on Spotify. So apologies for that. Didn't know that ahead of time. But that's what we will be talking about the next time we discuss music. So thanks to everybody for listening. You can follow me on all social media at Sundown Motel. You can follow Dim Carnival on all social media at Dim Carnival. And you can email us dimcarnival@gmail.com. Thanks to everybody for listening. Thanks for playing along. And until next time, I'm Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
And hee hee yahoo Echo Side. Oh, now my shirt's wet.
Yeah, my shirt's wet. When I worked at that credit card company,
Yeah.
we used to do this thing because one of the urinals in the bathroom, like, shot the water down really hard when you flushed it. So we would take the plunger and push the blue urinal guard thing in there and put it at an angle, so like if someone's done peeing and they flush it and the water comes down really hard and then like hits them. It was really gross. And like we would flush it just to see how far it would shoot, and it would go like 4 feet. Like it would almost hit the faucets where you wash your hands. It was awesome. We laughed. We would do that to each other. It was the funniest goddamn thing.
This is Ryan's nightmare.
Just awful.